Hi, my name's Jack. I'm a product manager here at Waymo. I work on dense urban driving in San Francisco. Today we're going to look at a couple of cases where we interacted with cyclists and talk about the difference between them and how it's important to our ability to make assertive, safe driving work well in San Francisco. Let's back up and take a look.
There's a cyclist that's on the right that intends to overtake the Waymo driver, shift into the driver's lane, around the upcoming vehicles waiting to make a right turn, and continue through the intersection.
The Waymo driver has experienced this situation many, many times. And through that experience, the system is able to predict that, in fact, the cyclist expects us to have very normal, smooth behavior here. They aren't expecting an extreme reaction, and an extreme reaction wouldn't be the safest thing to do. So instead, our system chooses to do what you see here. The system shifts over the double yellow, understanding that the oncoming vehicle will make a little bit of extra room for us. The driver predicts correctly that the cyclist is intending to sort of slot this gap and not cut super close to our vehicle and risk conflict. And finally, the system's able to slow down politely to leave a little bit of extra space, let the cyclist through, and then proceed assertively through the intersection, continuing on our merry way. In this scene, there's an oncoming cyclist that the driver perceives pretty far away, and that cyclist is riding towards the car in the oncoming lane. So far, things seem fairly typical. However, our system is constantly asking the question, what if? What if this cyclist did cut in front of the car? Will we be able to stop in time? And because of that, we start to brake a little bit early here. Then, as the scene plays out further, the system gets a strong prediction that the cyclist is going to have this type of cut-in behavior. In this situation, the important thing is to take action immediately and strongly to make sure that we don't have a conflict with this cyclist. And that's exactly what we do. So why does this matter? A few years ago, my dad was in a bad car accident. He was riding his bike and a car cut him off. They didn't see him, and he was pretty badly injured. He's okay now, but it was scary. It was scary for our family, it was scary for him, it was scary for me. So it's important to me in these cases that we think about, what if my dad was one of these cyclists? How would I want the car to react? Having behavior that spans that gamut, having behavior that's appropriately assertive around cyclists in the cases where we need to be assertive, where that's the polite thing to do, and maintaining the safety in the cases where we really need to take that action, that's the behavior that's gonna let us scale, and scale safely, scale in a way that people like my dad might not need to be in that situation ever again. And that's one of the things that really keeps me coming to work. I care a lot about making our behavior look good in these situations, and it makes me feel really good every time we have one of these interactions when I'm out testing the car.